Thanks for tuning in. You're watching Notepad with me, Ibrahim Sani. Currently, I'm at MyTech in KL, attending the Selangor International Business Summit 2019. This is every year. Well, they do this event. It's a trade show trying to attract investment into the state of Selangor. Earlier today, we have the Sultan of Selangor gracing the event, trying to see what is at store. And of course, joining me for this particular episode is the Group CEO of Menteri Besar Selangor Incorporated, or MBI, Raja Shahreen, Raja Othman. Raja Shahreen, again, thanks very much for taking the time to speak with us. The excitement here is unbelievable. We've seen a lot of exhibitors trying to showcase their wares and trying to get investments coming in. What is your first take from this particular event?
Well, if you look at it, this has been a great momentum going forward. Last year, we have about 23,000 visitors. This year, we are expecting about 30,000 visitors. That's about, what, 1/3 increase?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's one thing. And then the other thing is in terms of number of booths. Last year, we're looking about 530. This time around, we got about 800 booths coming in. Transaction value last year about 194 million. This year, we're looking at 250 million. So that is incremental growth to us.
Yeah, then of course, this trade show is focused predominantly not just at the big boys and the big clubs, but of course the SMEs as well, and micro entrepreneurs. But it cuts across many of the sectors. What kind of sectors are we looking at here?
Okay, if you look at what's presented here today is very focused on F&B. Okay, they are also looking into the SMEs, looking into all the cottage industries, the mom and pops and dads, whatever, to come in and participate. If you look around you, you have all the brands like the KFCs, the pizzas, the local F&N, teapots, Nestle's and stuff like that. They are all here as well, supporting the F&B.
And of course, halal is a big push for
halal
the state of Selangor.
is a major push. Okay, in MBI, we have 9 major economic trusts that we have.
Okay.
And halal is one of the biggest one.
Wow.
Okay. And we look into halal as something that we say that it is natural for us. We have the biggest network in terms of infrastructure, roads, highways, railways, connectivity fibers and all that, airports. We have it all. So come to Selangor. Do your SMEs here, do your manufacturing here. Okay?
One of the key elements of the summit for this year, the Selangor International Business Summit, is trying to help SMEs market the products overseas, trying to gain that export advantage. Right. When SMEs come to Selangor, do you think that it's easier for them to build their business for exportation?
But of course, to us, we have a platform. The halal, we call it halal as a way of life, okay? Halal as a way of life. They have a platform, they want to know, what do you do? What are your ingredients? Who are your suppliers? Those are all halal suppliers. These are all the halal toiban, we call it.
Yeah.
So whenever you come in, you want to, senang kata, buat roti. So what are the ingredients to buat roti? Okay, so these are all the halal suppliers. Straight away you mark them, you put them on your catalogue.
So the whole value chain.
The whole value chain, you got to know who they are.
Got it, yeah.
Okay, again, you want Burger Ramli, for example. Who are the suppliers of meat? Who are the suppliers of, I'm not sure what else, sugar or even salt or whatever. What have you? So they're all there. And we even identified Pulau Indah for the big boys to play if they want.
Yeah.
As a halal hub. There are other areas as well that we'll be looking at. Even the entrepreneurial for them to come in through our Yayasan Hijrah. We have a Hijrah program for the SMEs, for the entrepreneurs to come in and work together with the state.
So on top of halal, you mentioned slightly just now about F&B, but I see many others as well. We're talking industrial, we're talking, E&E or electrical and engineering, many other areas. What strikes you as interesting walking through these halls here in MyTech?
Today is very focused on F&B. Okay, if you look around, very much food and beverage. You got players from Indonesia, the locals, the Indians, and all that. What differentiate our own booth, I would say?
Yeah.
It is talking about Smart Selangor, talking about what Selangor is into the future. The state is very focused to become a smart state by the year 2025. So with that, they have done a lot of things. They look into how best we can portray ourselves as a smart state. Even recently, we talked about it has been raining. Yeah, it's been raining. So in terms of tracking, what's happening? Is there any flood? Sorry, any rivers that's going? The water level is going up.
Okay.
Is there any flood level? Any ring bells or stuff like that? It's all being monitored. Now we know where they are, what's the situation that
And everything is on real time.
Everything's on real time. We have sensors and all that.
With little human intervention, I presume.
No human intervention. We got data to come in because we have all the sensors.
Yeah.
Okay, data to come in and for them to analyze. Those days, we go there, we assess.
Yeah.
Now the data come to us at our operations level.
What does that mean for entrepreneurs when they want to invest in Selangor, and you see these kind of targets in place where Selangor will become a smart state by 2025? How can that help their business moving forward?
Again, back to data. Data now is the new wealth. Okay, by having data, you can exploit. You can look into it. What can you do with all this data? At this stage, the state is developing it. All right. For example, small players, what they want to do in Selangor. They want to become a rubbish collector, for example. They want to do recycling, for example. They want to look into river management. They want to recycle the water. Whatever, you can look into it.
Right.
You want to become an F&B player, where is the best place to become? To put on your factory? Or is it a factory that you need? Or is it you can source from other states and you become the aggregator?
Yeah.
Okay.
And making this Selangor as a central hub
as a platform.
Of sort.
That's right. Or how can you work with the Southern Perak, for example? There are a lot of areas which is not tapped in Southern of Perak. The likes of Tanjung Malim, Tapa, Kampar. How can you work with them? Or even with Negeri Sembilan, northern of Negeri Sembilan, kawasan Nilai, Labu, things like that. Okay. How can you work with them?
All right. We'll take a short break. We're shooting on location at MyTech. After this, we're going to talk some more about MBI per se. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for staying on with us. We're still on location at MyTech here attending the Selangor International Business Summit. Joining me for this particular interview is the CEO or the Group CEO of Menteri Besar Selangor Incorporated or MBI, Raja Shahreen, Raja Othman. We just want to recap into the role of Menteri Besar Selangor Incorporated. How do you facilitate the kind of investments that come into the state of Selangor, and how would people, how would business owners classify you as? How do they interact with you as an organization?
All right. There are a few setups or the few subsidiaries of the MBI. One of them is Invest Selangor. Invest Selangor work very closely with MIDA and all that. They attract investments to the state. Okay. For example, those who wants to come into aviation, wants to come into power generation, or any other investments that they want to do. Invest Selangor will be the first gate, so to speak. They will then facilitate them to set up investments in Selangor. MBI, in a way, is very much relates to what are the strategic investments of the state. What the state needs to invest, for example, like water, waste collection, river management, property, halal as a way of life, logistics, things like that. These are all strategic investments by the state. So those are handled by MBI. But at the same time, we have a unit, like I said earlier, Invest Selangor, which brings in, welcome people from overseas to come in and do business with us.
Would this be fair to classify Invest Selangor as in competition with, say, for instance, Invest Malaysia or any other trade body in Malaysia?
I would say they complement. They work together very closely because in the sense that they would then sit down with them, look at the profile of the investor, what they want to do. Then from there, we would then look where's the best? Where is the best location? It can be Selangor, it can even be Penang, it can be Kedah, it can be anywhere. So it's a question of the investors at the end of the day, how they can come in, and how can we make it simple doing business in Malaysia. So all these Selangor or even Penang or Perak, then we then support them in terms of what the peculiarities or what are the benefits of coming into the respective state. In Selangor, of course, it is so glaring, I would say, the network infrastructure,
Yeah, of course.
the connectivity,
And everything else, right?
is all
GDP
there.
per capita, the number of population in the state.
It goes without saying.
It goes without saying,
It
the
goes without
contribution
saying.
of the state into the national GDP.
It's 24%.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking about growing something that is already big.
That's right.
How else would you guys move forward? Because you're huge.
That's right.
So how do you make yourself more efficient and make it more easy for businesses to come about and do business here?
Yeah. If you look at MBI, nowadays like I said to you earlier, we have 9 key trusts going forward. One of the biggest key trusts that we have is Smart State, making MBI and making Selangor a smart state by the year 2025. That's one. The other one is looking into our neglected asset, which is the Klang River. It has not been looked at. In fact, it has been abused. It has been abused to the extent that we treat it like a sewage line. So now we are going to bring it back, bringing life back to Klang River. So how are we going to make it, how are we going to clean it, rehabilitate, redevelop, refurbish, transform Klang River from Mid-Valley all the way to the Klang River mouth and the rivers opposite it.
This is huge. This
It
has
is,
to be
it
a
is.
great
In a way,
undertaking.
it's a rejuvenation of the whole Klang River basin. This is how we need to be at the forefront. Selangor has to lead the way.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we
but
need-
this moves into the district of
Four districts.
Okay, that's
Sorry,
that's
sorry,
one
sorry.
area. There's also the federal territories of Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala Lumpur, they have the River of Life. So
Okay.
we're going to complement together and work together with them. How best we can make it great together.
You know,
So this is what we call smart partnership
when I
between
was
federal and the state.
a few years ago, I read something hugely interesting. Ganges River in India was given a legal entity status,
Oh.
meaning that Ganges River has all the legal protection like an individual or a corporation. And the reason why the Indian government did that is because they want to make sure that not only does the development of Ganges River take place, they are also liable if the development doesn't take place, meaning that it has to happen. Do you think that this rejuvenation of the Klang River, for instance, will be a key factor for Selangor moving forward? It has to be something that has to be done no matter what.
To me, it has to be done. Yeah? Personally, it has to be done because then we look into these are the areas which is not tapped yet. One, in terms of property, in terms of property development. One.
Yeah, of course.
Number two, we're looking at the water itself. The water now is murky, dirty, smelly, if you can put it in that manner. Okay, how can we change that to make that water for human consumption or even for industrial use? So straight away we have water that can be used, recycled water or whatever water you want to call it. How can we tap on that? That's one. Okay. In fact, going forward, water is going to be the new oil if you look at it properly.
Okay.
Number three, what about the natural wildlife that we have there? The environment. We're talking about the mangroves, we're talking about the wildlife, the likes of the crocodiles. Now we have 7 or 8 crocodiles in that river.
That's good, right?
I mean, for environment's sake, yes, we got migratory birds coming back.
Yeah,
We got fishes.
yeah. But that's what happens when you bring about mangrove ecosystem.
Precisely. So when we start cleaning up the river, things like this happen. So now instead of you putting your back to the river, now we want you to put your face to the river.
Of course.
Yeah. So
Okay.
now the property values, so to speak, will then go up.
Yes, of course.
Then we start talking about building houses or building apartments or whatever facing the river. Then we've got to make sure that people or Malaysians or Selangorians are being educated to treat the river for the next generation.
So how does that work? I mean, people don't normally care. They have everything else they have to do. How do you make sure that they are aware of these things?
Well, I won't say enforcement yet. I would say let's start with the small generation, the new generation, back to school, education, bring them to the river, make them appreciate this is your river instead of this is your longkang.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then enforcement comes into play.
Yeah.
All these industrial polluters, we got to tell them, hey guys, stop. Enough is enough. We got to treat whatever that you throw into the river. Before you can throw to the river, you got to treat it. Or pay if you pollute. Something like that, something to that effect.
Okay, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll discuss a little bit more about the Selangor International Business Summit 2019. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for staying on with us. If you've just tuned in, we are currently at MyTech Exhibition Centre here in KL because we are on location at the Selangor International Business Summit 2019. Joining me in this conversation is Raja Shahreen Raja Othman. He is the Group CEO of Menteri Besar Selangor Incorporated, or MBI. Raja Shahreen, it's a fantastic conversation that we're having right now. The thing is, we know that the budget has just been announced. And there's plenty of things that we can look forward to. We've also heard macroeconomic policies being rolled out. The 10-year plan of the Shared Prosperity Program is being launched. These are, a lot of people are saying, okay, fine, these are great to have. It's lofty, it's huge, it's fine, it's 10 years, whatever. How does that impact me and my business? Do you think that companies, more so sole proprietors, they should be excited about what 2020 brings about for them, and more so about doing business here in Selangor?
SPV 2030, it is great. It's talking about sharing the wealth, not only to selected few, but to all Malaysian. Okay, Selangor has been identified. A few key areas has been identified for Selangor. If you look at the map, when they carve out the pie and do the business. One of them is logistics, halal and stuff like that. To me, personally, again, there are a lot of opportunities in Selangor. There are a lot of areas that you can tap in, the value chain that's still missing. Okay, so there are many areas that you can come in. So in terms of cottage industry or talking about SMEs, please, there are a lot of areas that you can still tap in. Talking about, are we crowding out people? We are not. We still have places in Rawang, Serenda, Kuala Kubu, even Sabak Bernam to look into it. The likes of pertanian, agriculture. Agriculture is something that we should be looking at.
Yeah, there's also the element of foreign investors. When they want to shop around, they want to invest, they want to think about Malaysia, but while at the same time they think about Malaysia, they are also thinking about investing where in Malaysia. How would you reach out to these foreign investors? How would you categorize Selangor as a point of a key investment area if they do decide to invest here?
Well, again, it goes back to what they are doing. Okay, but at the same time, I will always tell them, first thing first, you've got the two biggest ports in Malaysia in Selangor, North Port, West Port. Okay, you've got the largest extensive network of roads and railways in Selangor. You've got fiber optics, everything in Selangor. Everybody's connected in Selangor. It's a question of speed. But if you're in the Klang Valley,
just like that.
Just like that.
Not to mention 5G tryouts that are currently being
done.
Yeah.
Talking about population, Selangor plus Kuala Lumpur plus Putrajaya, 10 million people. You've got the mass. Okay, 10 million people is 1/3 of Malaysia population are all here. Talking about housing, they are all here. We have the houses here. So talking about schooling for your children, you got all the international schools in Selangor. So these are all the plus points. Universities, we got 164 universities.
164?
164 higher learning institutions in Selangor. So I can just go on with all these statistics. So okay, to me, Selangor is a given choice.
164?
Yes. Higher learning institution.
Okay.
Okay, so you can just come in.
All right.
Okay. So it's a question of how do you position yourself in Selangor? What is it? We've got all the industrial areas from in Serenda down to in Sabujaya, in Dengkil, and even in Sepang and all that. So how can we structure this, put them together? How can they fit in? Pulau Indah, not to mention Pulau Indah.
Yeah.
Talking about, if they are talking about exporting, they need to be near to the port. Pulau Indah is a superb place.
And tying up with what you said earlier, the logistics connecting Selangor with the rest of the country, that is key as well.
Even that is also a gateway to ASEAN.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, of course, that's a slogan that was being talked about by Invest Selangor, your
So, in other words, from Selangor to, or from Port Klang, all the way down to Singapore, it's only taking what, 3 hours, 4 hours?
Yeah, of course.
The same time takes you to Penang, or even less, or even to Hat Yai in Thailand.
So you're really living up to that
We are saying we are the center.
gateway to ASEAN.
We are the gateway to ASEAN. We are the center. We can do it.
All right. Okay, that was my conversation with Raja Shahreen, Raja Othman, the Group CEO of Menteri Besar Incorporated here in Selangor, or MBI. If you've missed any part of this interview, just head on to the website at selangorsummit.com. This event is currently taking place over 3 days, today, October the 10th, 11th and 12th. You can also reach out to Invest Selangor at investselangor.com. They are there, ready to assist all, to answer all your business needs. Until next time, thanks very much for watching and goodbye.
Thank you, sir.